right, so now what we're going to be doing is finding out these big points that give us the construct. So we can start with any point. Let's start with this one over here. Now we're not measuring off here, this is just our guide. We're measuring off of here. So the easiest thing to do is just to measure straight across and make sure that your knitting needle is totally horizontal, that's not turned this way. Now on the video it's going to look a little tilted because of camera distortion, but in front of me I see this totally horizontal, okay? And then I bring that straight across. And with my pencil, I then just mark off where that point is. Okay. And now to decide how far up, I'm just double checking this measurement here. So how far up this is, we've got how far out it is, how far up it is. Same thing, I imagine this point coming across to my plumb line, and I just hold my knitting needle on the plumb line, and it's somewhere around there. So it's always going to be a guess. So there, coming across is somewhere about there. So that gives me a point. And I can also check that with a plumb line, a vertical plumb line. So just going across and making sure that this is totally horizontal as well. So it looks like it might be a little bit low, so I can just double check my plumb line here. Yeah, it's a tiny bit low, so. That's a different, that's a different approach, but the process is still the same. The process is still still using this big construct stuff, right? So without measuring. This is just to be more accurate. So you can use a sketch, but if you want to be more accurate, you have to do some measuring, right? So people can, for example, do a little sketch of the construct just up in the corner if they want. So like anything this is that you're learning that's new, the beginning part is very laborious and slow, but there isn't really any quick way to do this. Once you have more practice, then you can work actually fairly quickly with between measuring and marking. You might measure with one hand. Let's say you have your knitting needle in one hand and then drawing with the other.
So, but to begin, like anything new, it takes a bit of time, but shortcuts make long journeys. So we want to make sure that we're learning the process correctly, and then practicing to get faster. Okay. One thing actually, Colin, we could think about doing is, instead of going right into this, is we could just do smaller, like the smaller mouth or eye to start with. You know what I mean? Just as a initial thing. If you think this is what we can decide on that later. Okay, so I've got that one point. Now I want to go up to the next one here. So same thing. I'm just measuring straight up the plumb line to see how high it is. It's pretty close to here, so it's somewhere over here. And then how far out should be a little easier because it's a smaller distance. Somewhere about there. And then I'm just drawing the two angles here. This angle going up and this angle going down. So I'm not, go ahead. Yeah. And the two, I want to check with my horizontal plumb line, that it's not so far off. It should be pretty close. It looks pretty good. I'm just this is just seeing that they're on the same level, right? So if I measure now, it's on the camera, of course, it's angled, right? But in front of me, as I'm looking straight at it, I can see that if it's straight horizontal, if it's like this, like two off, then it's wrong, right? But I can see here just to make sure that these are lining up. So you can imagine, like, I can just go all the way down with these because it's just taking that image straight across. So it's a way of checking. All right, and I just go around now and continue to check these points. So this one straight up again is somewhere around there. I'm just looking for that corner there, so it's going to be somewhere out here. And then how far out it is. Somewhere around there. I always do the measurements a couple of times just to, it looks not so bad. It's based on the construct. So we're trying to get first the outside, right? So you want to make sure that you get the outside done and then perfect before moving into the interior stuff, right? So all these, so you'll be provided with the constructs. So you just pick the ones that are on here, right? So wherever there's a big change. Now here it's pretty easy, like here, there, the ear, then it comes out to here. Notice that it doesn't cut in, right? It just goes from that point to that point. So we're just trying to pick those major points that are going to give us the simplest image of this, right, without any details. So it's called the construct. Okay, the next one I could go here, but I'm going to jump up to this one because I sometimes like to leave ones that are close together and go on to one that's a bit further apart. So, this one again, I can just check to see that it looks like it's running, parallel. Looks pretty good. Still get the sensation it's too wide, so something's going on here. Let me just take a measurement to a little point there. Most likely is on this side. This is just fiddling, so you keep working on it until it looks correct. If you're getting tired of it, you want to take a break. You can move on to another shape. That's where part of the problem is. It needs to go a little bit over to the left here. We're talking about fractions of millimeters with this stuff. let's leave that. Let's go up to the eye. So here I've got the construct, which comes from this point actually out to that point of the halftone here. So probably need to come in a bit, down, and then down again. So I can just do this by eye. This kind of comes down and over a little bit. No, it's actually more to here, so it's not so bad here. Just need to curve this out a bit more. Then here, it curves a bit more in as well. That's where I might take my gum eraser and just lighten a little bit. Here comes down, starts to curve a bit more. It goes out to a point that's a little bit higher than that one. Actually ends somewhere about there. Then here comes down, down, and over again. So this just needs to be filled out a little bit more. And again, same thing. We can put a little bit of tone in. I want to try and get the tone fairly even, so it's not too splotchy, I guess. So here I'm just filling in with the HB hardness. And then I can kind of look and see how the characteristics of the two compare. This comes out and over a bit more. Here this kind of comes up